Welcome back to the railroad, everyone. In last week's video, we built and assembled our sound system for our haunted town. In today's video, we will put together some scary sounds, or at least some funny sounds for our haunted town. So, sounds on a garden railway. They make the railway come alive. I remember seeing a railway module at the 2016 convention in San Jose. Most of the trains in the convention hall were just going round and around. A few of them even had sounds on the engines and such, and of course squeaky wheels. But the scene that really got my attention was a beer festival scene with a polka music playing. It was great, and people would stand around and listen. I find trackside sounds interesting, and it brings the scene alive. How about you? Now, I've tried various sound systems, and this Adafruit soundboard is one of the better ones that I've seen for our railroads. Granted, it is an open circuit board, and you have to protect it from the weather, unless you've got an inside railroad, which put it anywhere you want to hide it. Now, the sounds you can do are unlimited. Think about your everyday walking around and what kind of sounds you hear on your everyday walk around a town. Now, there's a number of options you can have for triggering your sounds. I've used just momentary switches for the simplicity of it. You can also use an IR trip switch or pressure plate, any type of switch. So next I want to talk a little bit about sound clips. You can get a lot of clips for a small price for each one. You can also get free clips at different sites, such as freesound.org and bigsoundbank.com. Those are a couple that I've used in the past. Even though these sites are free, they depend on good people like us to donate a little to keep them going. So don't forget to tip your waitress. Next, I want to talk a little bit about adapting the soundtracks. You'll be able to change sounds from MP3 or others such as WAVE to OOG. I prefer to use OOG. It's still a good sounding track, yet it's very low in size, in bit size. Now, there's a few different programs you can use to change these from WAVE to OOG or from MP3s to OOG. There is one that Adafruit uses. It's called audio.online convert. I've used it. It's fine. It's a free service. Personally, though, I like one called Audacity. I have that on my computer. It's a great program. Again, this one I think is a free version, but it does everything I need in all of my videos. And it converts these sounds and lets you do a whole clip, adding all the different sounds in that you want, moving them around. It's a very good program. Now we want to talk about programming for the Adafruit board. And I am not that great at programming, so this Adafruit board is great for me. There is no programming. You only need to change the name of the sound file properly. Okay, remember, the Adafruit soundboards use only WAVE or OOG files. WAVEs are a little higher usage on bits. OOGs are a little smaller. Okay, so we have five basic file types that you can use for your different sounds. For number one, the basic, you write TNN and then whatever it is, .wave.oog. Okay. When you use option number one, the sound will play only once, completely through, and you have to wait until it's done to start your next one. Number two is hold looping. So that's the TNN again, and the letters HOLDL for hold loop, and then whichever it is, a wave or such. Option number two will play only while you hold the trigger, and it will loop until you release the trigger. Option number three is a latching loop, and you can see the way it's written, TNN latch loop. So option three will start playing with the first push of a momentary button and stop on the second push of the momentary button. That's a latching loop, so it's latched. Option number four will play each of up to 10 different sounds in order, one per each push of the button. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it'll do number one, and then the next time you push the button, number two, the next time number three, etc. Okay, on to number 5, random. So again, this is T, the number you want, and then ran. And with option number 5, it will play up to 10 different sounds again at random. So you don't know the order it'll play them in. One at a time per each push of the button. All right, so in an attempt to clarify this for you a little, the first 3 options you have out of the 5, number 1, 2, and 3, the NN after the T, so you'll always have a T in there, the NN is your number of whichever switch you want to activate that number. So if it's 00, you'd put T00 and then a dot, and it would be whatever it is, and .org, .wave, whatever. So for number 2, you would have, say you want to run it on switch number 2. So it would be T02 HOLDL dot wave or OOG. Okay. Number 3, the latching. If you wanted to use, say, switch number 3, it would be T03 LATCH and then .OGG, .wave, whichever it is that you're using. Now, numbers 4 and numbers 5, they have the option to have 10 different sounds that you can play. The first one is a next option, so it'll play each one in line. And the way you number those is, of course, you have a switch and then the count of numbers of your sounds. So let's try number 4. It would be T09 because I'm using the 9th switch. So T09 NEXT, and then you see that we have the number key in there, and that would indicate your numbers from 0 to 9. So you'd have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that you can input in there. So let's say that for number 4, you want to have it use the 9th switch, and you want it to be the 4th number in line. So it would read T09 NEXT 4.OGG.wave, whichever you're using. Now let's try the random. Say you want the random to be on switch number 10, and again this will be the 4th soundtrack on that number 10 push button. So it would read T10 RAND 4.wave.ogg. Hopefully that clears it up a little for you, how you number your individual soundtracks. And remember, you have triggers 00, which is your first, 01, 02, 03, right on up to 10. So 00 to 10 gives you 11 triggers. And of course the number note, what I call the pound sign, denotes the numbers 0 through 9, which means you can have 10 different sounds triggered by that option, either 4 or 5. All right, let's get on with this. So, to add these files to our Adafruit board, you want to connect your Adafruit soundboard to your computer with the same type USB connector that most modern cell phones use. Click the Start button on your computer, then select Computer. When Computer Box comes up, you want the removable disk that is the Adafruit board. It should pop up for you. Now you'll need to name your files as this chart shows, and then copy and paste them to the Adafruit board. All right, now that we've rewritten the file names for each of our sound files, we're going to enter them onto the Adafruit board. So the Adafruit uses this small plug, which is one of the older cell phone plugs. It's not the common new one. We put the plug into the Adafruit board, and then we plug the other end into the computer. Once we do that, the computer will ask us a few questions. I skip those, and it brings up the one file that is on the Adafruit board. Now we want to use that file name for one of our programmed files. So I'm going to highlight that one and delete. Now, of course, I have a computer with 2 monitors, So I'm going to open in a new window our working file, and from my file folder I'm going to choose all the files that we've made sounds for, highlight those and copy, go back over to my other monitor and paste them into the Adafruit board. This will take a while because these are reasonably larger than the Adafruit board can handle that quickly. So it'll probably take a couple of minutes, and while that happens, I will play a little bit of the soundtracks for you that I have recorded. Now I'm going to leave the soundtrack recording up to yourselves, as everybody does them a little differently. Myself, I like to use Wolf, Spaceship, Screams, Animals, Keep in mind this is 16 megabytes that can be put onto this drive, so we do have quite a bit of room. I think the total amount that I have here is around 8 megabytes now, so about half of the space that is on the drive. Now we do not have to have the board plugged into power at this time because it's picking up its power from the computer to do all the downloading onto the Adafruit board. And keep in mind, if you ever want to change any of these sounds, you go through the same setup process. You just plug the cable in, remove the sounds that you don't want, make sure you have the new sounds listed in the proper name, and drop them on board. And we have all of the sounds now on the board. So I will close this. I'll close this one. We're going to disconnect the board because all those sound triggers are now on our one little board. Now, to operate this, I need a power source, which is going to be our little 14.4 volt battery. Once it gets plugged in, we have 5 volts on our meter, and we have the sound bits on. Yeah, okay, this should be number 1. And it plays all the way through. Now, number 2 should just play with a push of the button and stop when I release the button. Okay, so number 3 should be a latch. We push it to start it, we push it to stop it. Push it to stop. When we push it to start again, it starts at the beginning again. The same with number 4. It's latched. So we push it to start. I had to put some polka music in there. Okay, number 4 is the next. So each one of these we play, it will play the next one in line. Okay, I don't know what the next one is. Okay, so that one plays each one in line, and it will just keep playing those over and over. The next one is random. And as I recall, that one was a long one, so we'll stop it right there. All right, so you have that all set. If there's any questions, please leave them in comments below, and let's go run a train. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Sorry I'm a little late with this video, but I have a new prosthetic heart valve that had to be put in last week, so I missed a little bit. We'll be safe, stay healthy, we'll see you down the rails, and God bless. There is a great phrase at the end of John Steinbeck's Cannery Row. The world is once again spinning in greased grooves.